No, you didn't. Larry and Fred did. We could tell stories. Who went to this high school? Anybody in here? Raise your hand high. If walls could talk, she is giggling. It would tell us stories of people, time, periods, and politics, which has shaped our town's identity. For most of its life, it began as a school, originally built in 1928. It housed grades from elementary to high school. H.E. McCracken Sr., who the town's middle school is named after, taught algebra and agriculture at this school. Mr. McCracken went on to become the principal and then superintendent of Beaufort County School District. His son, former Mayor Emmett McCracken, who this council chambers is named after, as you see on the back wall, he graduated here in 1953 in a class of 6 students. 10 years later, the Vietnam War was ending and President Kennedy was assassinated. The structure burnt down. The building's coal fire furnace ignited the flame. Emmett said people used to clean the school's pine floors with oil and sawdust, so it was a recipe for a fast and destructive fire. The students used local churches in their facilities, and they were back in the new building in about a year. Later, as more schools were built, this building became Bluffton High School. Remember, that was before desegregation. African-American students were taught at a school on Goethe Road. In the late 60s, African-American students could elect to be integrated into Bluffton High School. It was in the 70s that our current town council members, Larry Toomer and Fred Hamilton, went to this school together. And now they're both creating the next chapter of Bluffton as elected officials. In the early 90s, the structure became home for Town Hall, and we have been here ever since. And I will say it became Town Hall due to the tireless efforts of Jerry Reeves, who wanted a place for the Children's Center. And this was going to be an abandoned building, and the only way that Children's Center could be created was to let a town entity take ownership. So he's looking up above, but I know he's very proud that we continued and kept this building in all his efforts. Calhoun Station was another entity that needed to be here, and they're still here. And they're in the back, and they're going to have their grand reopening very soon. We've constructed for 4 years, mainly under the watchful eye of that guy right there, Mark Orlando, and all of his staff. So if staff could raise their hands, very good. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, every one of you. So as I said, no financial burden, additional financial burden on our taxpayers. It was budgeted, planned, and constructed with available funds, and it is paid in full. What you'll find today is a renovated structure that's functional and appropriate for our staff, our customers, and our citizens. I hope you're as proud as we are in beginning our next chapter of our life in this town hall. And next I will ask Mark to come up. And thank you all for coming today.
Thank you, Mayor Salka. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm very pleased to be here. I'd like to share with you some interesting details about our town hall, about the building, the functions, and all of the talented people that were behind this project to make it possible. So those who have visited us in the past, I see Frank back there. Thank you, Frank. Those who worked here, visited, did business here, pretty much experienced about 9,000 square feet of space, plus Calhoun Station, plus the Ulmer Auditorium. So we renovated we provided a 4,600 square foot addition, which makes up council chambers, conference rooms, and clerk of court. And we also renovated the remainder of the building. The remainder of the building left vacant by the Children's Center. So now we're here enjoying close to 30,000 square feet of space. And of course, that includes space for offices, customers, Calhoun Station, Ulmer Auditorium, and all of our great staff. So more than 55 staff members, so going on 60 staff members work in this building, right here in the Historic District. Customer service, which is made up of business licensing and general information, as well as community development permits. Our building safety, planning and community development, IT, HR, project managers, my office, along with mayor and council, deputy town manager, and our administrative office, HR, and finance. And so is pretty much most of the functions in our town. We still have a few buildings, of course, our law enforcement center, our public works building, our stormwater, our watershed building, but the majority of business is held here. You'll notice a new parking lot right behind, in front of you, behind me, to the north of the building. We added significant public parking spaces to our historic district and used pervious materials, greatly reducing stormwater runoff. Debbie, our PIO, tells me that I should explain what pervious is. So if Kim Jones could come up and give us a half-hour explanation. So, no ma'am. I actually have in my notes, don't let Kim up here. I made that up. A lot of you have seen the Hargray communication signs. We dig the gig. The gig is big. Have you seen those signs on 278? Well, we did. This building provides gigabit internet service. Mayor Salka would take nothing less, not a gigabit less, just a gigabit more. And so we actually provide gig service to our staff through our office space as well as to the public in the public meeting spaces. So anybody looking on your phone right now while I'm talking should have very fast access. So, another thing, in our design research, we know that a key single element of today's office needs is to offer choice. So we're aware that attracting, and I think we all are aware, that attracting and retaining the best staff is crucial. A lot of people talk about the merits of open space or the merits of a closed office. But the reality is you can't have one without the other exclusively, because it won't satisfy how everybody wants to work in your organization, especially of a building of this scale. When you tour the building today, you'll notice clean open workspaces, as well as areas where staff can collaborate, as well as private spaces where we can meet with customers and each other in a more private setting. In the design process, our team also wanted to generate a happy, productive environment. That was a goal. We said we want to be happy here. We want to be productive here. And so with that, our designers added more natural light to the building with windows, and so those folks that have worked here in the past probably saying a silent amen right now. And I know Bree has a window now. And so we have windows. We separated key work functions, and so you'll see clerk of court finally separated from customer service. So we've separated the two different functions, and it helps not only our workers, but those doing business. And we organize space for people to interact naturally. And I hope you see that as you walk around. We're also aware that a workplace cannot be thought of in isolation, but in the context of the community in which it serves. So I think that's something that I really believe in. The building needs to align itself with a genre of architecture and design while providing beauty and a place of inspiration. And so I believe these objectives were accomplished. I'm grateful that I was a part of this process. And I have a lot of people to thank, but it won't take too long, so hang tight. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to Mayor Salka, Mayor Pro Tem Larry, Councilman Fred Hamilton, Councilman Dan Wood, and Councilman Harry Lutz. Thank you for your vision, your oversight, and your support for this project. And for all here tonight, believe it or not, Council didn't just simply agree with this proposal. And I promise you, they scrubbed details. They made specific requests, questioned budgets time and time again, and ultimately added tremendous value. And the project will be forever a part of your legacy during your service to Bluffton. So I want to say thank you. So if Kim could help me, I have a few gifts for you. So just to commemorate the building, Mayor Salka. Councilman Wood. You're welcome. Councilman Lutz. Where is he? I saw him. Brian Osborne, our project manager extraordinaire. Thank you. Brian, thanks for your vision, your ability to make the details matter, and for your complete and ultimate ownership and daily dedication that went well above and beyond. I would drive by on weekends and see him with his own blower blowing outside and here on the weekends. And some of you may or may not know, but we put some plants across the street to create a parking lot and an edge to the parking lot. We didn't have our water meter in time, and he's out here on the weekend watering plants by himself away from his family. So above and beyond. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Oh. Our general contractor, J.E. Dunn. We appreciate Walter Murphy and his entire team, especially Ryan Price, Robert Wyrick, Alan Corley, and Louise Nelson. So there's you are. Come on up for a sec. Walter Murphy with J.E. Dunn, everybody. Thank you, sir. You don't have to squat. Sorry, Debbie. My ADD is almost kicking in, Debbie. Thank you for bringing me back. Thank you to each member of town staff. So we moved out in November, on November 18th, 2017, I think was the day, and I remember that day because we all took a photo. The last crew standing, we took a photo outside at the sign. And we, right before that, took a photo on the stage at the final council meeting in November with town council and Terry Finger. He may be here. So we moved out on November 18th, 2017, and we moved back in the second week of February 19. So I'm proud in the professional manner in which every staff member handled the transition. It's not easy, but change isn't easy, we know that, and especially during the transition, but we stayed focused on doing our best to provide the very best service to our customers. And that stayed our focus throughout. So 2 moves, first out, then back, in a 15-month period with 0 disruption of service. An amazing accomplishment made possible by a true team. So if I could, just a round of applause for the staff that made that possible. A special thanks to Constance, very organized, in charge, and made the transition out with a lot of our belongings to storage and back in with a lot of those belongings in storage back to the right places. You made that very easy for us and a seamless transition, so thank you. So, and last but not least, our design team, and I'll go through these pretty quickly. If I forget anybody or not have someone on the list, I apologize, but it did take a huge team effort. So the design team, Neil Dawson, John Hughes from LS3P, thank you. Pierce Scott, Sarah Keppel with Pierce Scott Architects. I think Pierce is here somewhere. Shelley Wilkins with Shelley Wilkins Design. Brian Sapp from Tharp Engineering. Ryan Yako, our mechanical engineer. Alan Ward, Heath Duncan, Willie Powell with Ward Edwards. Keith Fisher, Bluffton Electric. Sharp Business Systems for all of the great IT, the information technology throughout our building. John Lopat with JS Construction. Nick Welliver and his crew with Hilton Head, AKA Bluffton Landscaping, as Mayor Salka let them know on Arbor Day. Brian Whitmer and team with Whitmer Kiefer Jones. Sean Congleton, Sign Design. And very importantly, and last but not least, Harmony Corley and Eliza Nixon with DHEC. DHEC has provided grants to us, Section 319 DHEC grants for water quality throughout quite a long period of our time. And so a lot of the work you see outside, the gravel turned to pervious, the hardscape, landscape, all those improvements that were made possible 100% for the most part with the help of Section 319, a Section 319 grant applied at the building here. So very fortunate and very appreciative of that. Last but not least, too, my family who's with me today, Jackie, Emmy, Ben. Thank you for your excitement and support, especially as we took detours past the building. Doesn't matter where we were going. We could be going we could be going to Disney World or to see Jackie's mom on the island, we would drive by this building and take a detour almost every day to check on progress, a daily schedule, and so I could brag about all the great things we're doing, so thank you. Are you listening, Ben? All right. So with all this considered, it's time to present our beloved building to the community for public use and public service for many years to come. And so I would ask Mayor Salka, members of council, Dan, Harry, please welcome them back to cut the ribbon prior to our open house.
You are all part of it. So we're actually gonna stand in front of you and get a picture, and y'all can stand or sit, but they're gonna take pictures of all of us because this is for y'all. This is a super fun place to work. Fun. I love this staff, so I'm just throwing it out there. If you're looking for a job change, go on our website. If you just wanna see what we're like, we have commissions and committees, and we urge new people to always apply. So you can't help but find the application for both on our website. If not, find Kim tonight and she will tell you how to apply. So there you go. So are we going to cut it facing there? Yes. Okay. So everyone smile or photobomb or whatever you want to do. What?
Oh, we need to score.
Middle right here. Okay. Everybody, stand up and come forward. Come forward. Okay, is everyone in? We don't have scissors. You guys come forward. Do we have scissors, anybody?
Yes.
The key details.
Trent.
Okay. You gotta.
Careful. Those, oh shoot, no. Oh my God.
All right, so y'all look right
The
here.
scissors are upside down. Sample, hold on.
Stand here, but they won't get the scissors in your
Oh,
face.
well, I guess.
Go this way. Go this way.
All right, everybody look right here and smile.
Smile.
3, 2, 1.
Everybody that there's cars in the way of the bus.
Okay, first of all, you're welcome to come back, but if you parked in front of a bus, the buses have to get out of wherever they are. So, right? Walk around, wander, look at all the artwork on the walls. Do we have cookies and water are all throughout?
We're going to open the doors, they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll open all the doors.
Do you know